I could tell you, but then I'd have to. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that anymore on YouTube. Welcome to my living room. This is one of the couches in my living room. I love it. Anyway, I am very aware that it's been a very long time, and I wish that I had a good excuse. But really, the world's on fire, guys. It's on fire. And that makes it really hard to have a full cup. See? Because you keep dumping it out to put the fire out. So, here we are with a kippa that is making its own fashion choices today. I don't know what's wrong with my head. I don't understand why everything on me ends up looking lopsided. I think that it's a lot to do with my haircut, to be honest. I cut it myself and it's not centered. It's not centered is the problem. And I know it's not. However, I also 98.7% of the time I walk around with a hat on. So, it doesn't need to be great. I can see myself. And that's bothering me. Okay. Anyway, so it's been a hot minute. The hottest of minutes, guys. So what happened? Let's talk about it, I guess. So I moved, and I moved right after the terrorist group Hamas committed a terrorist act on October 7th, 2023. I moved just a few days later. That was frightening, actually. Because the neighborhood I was in, my neighbors knew I was Jewish, and they knew that I went to Shabbat services. They knew I lit my candles, etc., etc. We were all fine. And as somebody who lives alone, it's important to be able to sleep. So I was seriously, she's gonna start scratching that. Leia, baby. Anyway, that kind of stuff is why it is so hard, so very hard, for me to sit down and do the podcast. That is a large contributing factor. So I moved. Okay, new house, right? And because I moved, I started a new job. So I was working 2 jobs at Temple, and I subsequently burnt myself out. I started in November doing the second job at Temple, and was then, in addition to teaching religious school, and then I was just there all the time. I was just at Temple all of the time. I don't know what's going on with my lighting here, because I have a light. You can see it in my glasses. It's there. I don't know what's happening with everything else, but we persist. Anyway. I'm getting this out, darn it, because done is better than perfect. Okay. And so then I was just there all the time. Because it was part-time. Yes. but it was part-time in the I can only work like half a day at a time kind of way, not in the 3 8-hour shifts a week kind of way. So I was there every day, a lot, because also we were, I was teaching older kids, and B'nai mitzvahs, man, all the time. So just so many events. I was at events. I was working. And I wasn't like getting to do anything really that like was for me. From the time that I started until the time that I flamed out on the second job, I took one like actually scheduled day off. Like I requested to not work one Sunday, and I went to GalaxyCon with my mother. That's it. That's the day I had off that was scheduled. All of the other times that I ended up like not going into work were because I couldn't move or because I was sick. I got COVID twice in 9 months. So, yeah. And then at the same time that was happening, I was also dealing with a lot of other mental and medical stuff, and it was just, there was a lot going on in my life. I don't know if I mentioned it, and I'm not going to go back and check, but Max decided that he was going to eat a cat toy. Well, part of it, most of it. So he had to go have an emergency surgery less than a week after moving in here, is what it felt like. It was not that fast, but oh my gosh, it's like we moved in and I blinked and my baby was refusing greenies, which are the only treat that it's the only food. It is the only food item. Okay? And we're talking like human food doesn't do this. Okay? Like, my carne asada does not do this. When I splurge and get it from the decent Mexican place down. Anyway, but greenies are the only thing that will make him drool. Like literally just like smelling them, and his mouth starts to literally water. It's adorable and a little creepy. Like it's weird to watch. Or like witness, I guess, because it's not like I like. Anyway, not the point. So, so yeah, I had to deal with that, as well as starting this new job. Like it was like right after I started, and so that's happening. And the whole reason that I like really started the podcast was because I was like, oh, I have all these things I want to talk about, and like look at all of these people that are also nerding out about stuff. And then the terrorist group Hamas commits one of the largest terrorist attacks in recent memory, and all of my leftist intersectional folks that I subscribe to or am friends with, etc., crickets. Nothing. And then the Israeli government retaliated. And suddenly, everybody wanted to make sure that they said, Free Palestine. I unfollowed and unsubscribed and unfriended. And still today am doing that. And it's not because of somebody necessarily just saying Free Palestine, because yes, Free Palestine from Hamas. The Palestinians will tell you that. Even the ones who may also be so anti-Semitic that they want all Jews dead also don't want Hamas to be in charge. Like, let's be very clear about this. Because it's so weird how you could like be both an unwilling participant of a regime and also hate their enemies. You can have both. It's a thing. Looks around. It's a thing. Anyway, so the people that I had to step away from were the ones that had inspired me to get started in the first place. Jesse Gender was the reason that I felt so empowered to start talking about Star Trek and how I saw myself in Star Trek in so many different ways, and how it has always been so queer coded and so autistic coded in so many ways. And I was heartbroken because she had not said a single thing about not even about the Nova attack, like literally nothing. So all of these people that just had nothing to say. So yeah, so like my whole world like fell apart because I lost so many people. I lost creators that I looked up to. I lost friends. I lost like friendships that were decades old because honestly, I can say this for most of the friendships that I lost. It's because they looked at the situation and they saw the poor brown Palestinians and they saw the rich white Israelis, because that's the image they have in their head. And I know this because I know my friends and I know what they say when they're not saying it. And I saw the things that they were posting and the justifications that they were giving for the anti-Semitism that they were spouting whole hog. And it was literally every day for probably 6 months. There was another person that I had to unfriend, unsubscribe, unfollow, another group that I had to leave because of the hatred that they were allowing themselves to show for Jews. And they would say Zionists, but here's the thing. Zionism is literally just the idea that Jewish people, like any other people, deserve to live in their ancestral homeland and steward it. And so if you are a land back person, you're a Zionist. You're a Zionist, just not for Jews. So I just want you to sit with that, justify it to yourself however you need to. That's anti-Semitism. That's how that works, is when it's okay for everyone except the Jews. When you are justifying murder of random American Jews. You're anti-Semitic. Um, like I'm not ashamed to be a Zionist because I know what the word means. I am not ashamed to be Jewish, just like I'm not ashamed to be queer. Uh, it turns out that that's a lot of stuff that people don't like to hear, and that's a lot of people that don't like me, inside and outside the house. The leftist queer spaces don't like me because I'm Jewish. Fuck all about whether or not I'm a Zionist. They find out I'm Jewish, and that's the end of that. They assume that being Jewish doesn't just mean that I'm a Zionist immediately. Although I don't know how they can do that and still know that their tokens exist, but whatever. It also means somehow that I'm responsible for any deployment of any governmental action from Israel. Like every Jew in the world has like BB's personal number, and we're just like giving him advice or whatever. I don't make it make sense. That was loud. I'm sorry. I don't understand, guys. I don't understand. So yeah. So between like the crushing, like, oh my gosh, of all of the very sudden mask off from everybody, and being sick and getting burnt out, and then after I burnt out, so that was like almost a year ago now, right? This is in September of 2024. I stopped doing the second job for a while. And then I just wasn't inspired. To do anything. And then I would try to do something and it just wouldn't come out right. So this isn't going to come out right. I am going to be like cutting a huge... I just went on this huge rant, like tirade, and it's gone. I'm going to get rid of it. But I couldn't bring myself. And like, this looks real simple. I am very aware. All of that stuff that you guys don't see, not so simple. Not so simple. Especially because I decided to, Linux up my computer, and it's really hard to do stuff sometimes. I'm not tech savvy. I'm just not afraid to be wrong. I am not as smart as people give me credit for. I'm really not. I know a lot about a bunch of stuff because I've messed up. I'm not smart. I'm just not afraid to be wrong. I should get that and put on a t-shirt. So like I've tried a few things, but none of it felt good, This one's gonna suck visually. I am so sorry. It's gonna suck because the lighting is just, but I finally figured it out. I think, maybe. I mean, true, I am currently manic. I am. However, I'm also medicated. I was raw dogging reality for so long, guys. So long. If you were here at any point in the history, then you know that I was raw dogging reality so that I could have like a full-on evaluation, and then I got told that I like didn't have ADHD or OCD or like anything. It was just my PTSD is so bad, and also autism, and also bipolar disorder. Cool. So then what had happened was I started seeing a new psychiatrist because I was like, hey, maybe raw dogging reality. Like, maybe I should have like somebody to check in with, even though I would like to continue to raw dog reality because like I've been on so many medications. So at the end of my first session, he had said, and nobody's ever diagnosed you with ADHD more than once. And he still let me go. He let me go without starting medication the first time. First appointment, he said, okay, I'll see you in 6 months. So I came back in 6 months. I said, I'm still doing great. I was not doing super great, but like, why am I ready to try new medication when I have tried literally every SSRI at this point? They don't work, or at least they don't work long term. I am medication resistant. Why do I want to jump on that merry-go-round again? Anyway, then I was all like, hey, maybe I do need some help. So we try a medication that I was on before. I immediately gain a whole bunch of weight. I go back off of that medication. My psychiatrist says, have you ever been on Wellbutrin? I said, no. No, I have not. My ex-wife was. She was on it. Guys, turns out that if you don't have a serotonin problem, an SSRI will not help you. What? So I started the medication. I am instantly having positive results, okay? And this time I didn't change a thing, guys. I did this scientifically. I said, I'm not changing any of my habits. I'm not changing any of my patterns. I'm not implementing new systems. I'm gonna keep doing the same stuff that I've been doing. I'm gonna do the stuff I do every morning. I'm gonna do the stuff I do every evening. Like the stuff that I already do, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not adding anything. I'm not taking anything away. I'm not changing anything except this medication. I am adding this medication. Now, I am still at a low dose. Like I've gone up a little bit, but like I'm still at a middle dosage or something, right? More often than not, I think the thought and do the thing. I do the thing. Do I still have a hard time with inertia? Yes. Executive functioning is still difficult. It sure is. However, it is also easier than it was. And I know that it is because a routine developed on its own. I have a morning routine, and it just kind of happened. And I actually have two different morning routines because I have one for when I work in schools, and then I have one for when I do the temple stuff, because the temple stuff is later in the day. Like all the temple stuff I do, it ends up starting later in the day. But like when I go substitute, that's the thing I do now. Also, I'm a substitute. We'll talk about that later. That's gonna be its own video. It's got to be its own episode because. Yeah. Anyway. Also, I gotta like go through and change a bunch of names. So I do the things now. Not all the things, not all the time. It's not like a magic pill or anything, but like things have improved on their own without me like forcing it. And that's cool. Other people notice. Other people have noticed that, like, I'm different. My mood is different. I just didn't have enough dopamine. Um, like, I still get angry a lot. I still have the negative feelings. Don't get me wrong. For sure, for sure. And they definitely make themselves known. Um, Shout out to the squad. You know who you are. Um, Thank you for being there even when I don't want you to be. Anyway, um, so, like, I still have all of that, but it's also like I'm like actually content overall. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to explain feelings. They still don't make any sense to me, but whatever. That's Maximus letting me know that there's either somebody outside or a train coming. Who knows? Not me. We'll know soon. We'll know soon. Anyway, so yeah, everything is different. Everything is different. So I'm gonna try all this again. I'm gonna try it again. We're gonna see if it works. I've got some ideas. I am going to talk about being queer and being Jewish. I want to talk about how this most recent Pride went. I want to talk about substituting and, like, how that kind of stuff has changed my life. How finding the right people, like finding the right circle, has changed things for me so much. Um, and yeah, so, like, I'm back, I think, for real. I hope so. I've got it in my planner, which we're probably going to have a lot of planner talk too. Cuz now I digital plan consistently. Still not every day. I am still bad about the everyday, but I'm giving myself so much more grace. And oh, you poor thing. Please don't start scratching. I'm almost done. Now the other one wants in on it. It's just a cardboard box that I haven't broken down yet. That's it. That's all it is. But cats see a box. And game over, baby. Maxie, can you wait, please? I asked Leia to wait. Can you also wait? Can you let me finish this? Please? And then you can do scratchies? Or just do scratchies not in the box. Like, that box is so loud. He's ignoring me. Okay, then. All right. So I guess I am going to stop it here with what, maybe 20 minutes, hopefully 25 by the time I've, like, finished everything. Because there's, like, so much that I have to cut, because I go off on so many tangents. I'm sorry, and I guess not at the same time. This is what you signed up for. It's literally called Just Ezra. Thanks. This is exactly what you signed up for. And if you didn't, okay, bye. I'm not changing a whole lot. I'm really not. I'm gonna keep just sitting here and talking at myself, I guess. And anybody who wants to listen is more than welcome to. I am going to do the bare minimum of editing so that I can get this up, because it is currently Sunday, the 29th of June at 4:30 p.m. And if I just immediately edit this and make it go live, then it's done. It's out there. And you guys can then tell me if you want Pride table stories or substitute stories first. Because we're going to do one of those. Well, we're going to do both of those. We're going to do story times. And then we're going to do some seriousness, I think. But first, story times. So, I think there's a poll that I can put on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, go tell me substitute stories or Pride stories. If you're watching on YouTube, I guess leave a comment. If you're listening elsewhere, I don't have all the answers. I've heard that the internet does, however. Ask there. As always, if there is anything that you would like for me to like info dump about or anything, let me know. There will be a lot of language stuff coming. An almost obscene amount of language content is coming for so many reasons. Just mostly self-acceptance. Yeah, so I am gonna go do all that stuff, and I will hopefully have another episode out just so fast. If this is your first episode, I'm sorry. If this is not your first episode, I'm even more sorry. Thanks for coming back. Here's hoping that I don't disappear for another year plus.